Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
Sure, that's what they say.
No hell below us. Above us, only sky.
That sure is an imagination.
Imagine all the people. Should I go for the note? Living for today.
I'm imagining
it. You might say that I'm a dreamer, but you know I'm not the only one, right?
That's about all I'm imagining.
But I'm not the only one. I thought you was going to join me on this.
I don't know that stuff.
I hope someday that you will join us.
Sure you do.
And the world will be as one. You don't know that song?
I can't help you.
That's a classic. You don't know it?
I can't help you.
Okay. Stay tuned for another edition of the Prison World Radio Hour.
Prison World.
The Prison World
Show is coming show. Prison World Radio Show. And we gon' have some fun. Prison World.
The Prison World
Show is coming show. Prison World Radio Show. And we gon' have some fun.
Welcome to all of our global listeners
Imagine
around
all
the world.
the people.
Oh, so you was just playing with me, right? Whatever. Welcome to another edition of the Prison World Radio Hour. I am your host, Jenny Tripper, and attached to my hip is my co-host who like to play
And
too
I'm
much.
just me.
Ismael. You guys know that song Around the World. That's an old John Lennon song where he had lots of hope for the world, and he could only imagine that everybody could live as one. Well, you know,
I'm glad he had all that hope.
You know, we're imagining a world full of fabulousness as we celebrate us.
I'm imagining a whole bunch of lying people.
As we how can you imagine?
Lying.
That's the facts. That's the real facts. But the imagination is supposed to be for the greater, for the good, for the best, for the better.
Oh, they done messed up my imagination.
So as we celebrate 8 years in this broadcasting game, we are imagining that things can only get better. They can only get better. Okay, so if you have been with us the past 2 nights, you'll know that we are doing a series on Black Muslimah Activists, 7 Sisters, 7 Nights, 7 Reasons Why. And I felt that this was a good time. This was something that needed to be done because there are so many of us, and I say us, include us, that are doing great works. A lot of times it's the folks with the boots on the ground that get slighted.
Ain't nobody got no pants on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Okay, boots on the ground. But, you know, especially if you're a person of color, you don't always necessarily, when the call to action is given, you're not necessarily the one that they say, oh, okay, that's the go-to. You know, I guess unless you're Al Sharpton, but then again, he's not Muslim. So that's why I'm saying, you know, I'm not saying that all things should be done for recognition, but I am saying that when the names are tossed around for referrals, that these are some of the names that should make the short list. That's all I'm saying.
What's the name?
The names of the sisters in the series that we've been doing. Don't play.
Huh?
Don't play.
I got off for a minute.
You did. So
I'm back now.
So with that said, and this being the 3rd show in the series, let's talk a little bit about what activism means to us. You know, and what does that mean? Not necessarily in this 21st century meaning, because, you know, everybody's trying to change the meaning of everything, even though everything is rooted in an old school meaning. But what does it really mean to be an activist?
It means getting down and dirty. It means digging in.
Standing up for something?
It means putting that putting your heart out for something you really believe.
Sitting down for something?
Huh?
Sitting down for... They used to have sit-ins.
If you just want to sit down, then.
They used to have sit-ins. Like sit-ins in the 60s, they used to come and sit in at the food counters
Well, I'm
because
talking about putting the work in.
They weren't being served. Rosa Parks sat down on the bus. She would not be moved. She was not about to be moved.
Well, she did it her way. You're supposed to do it your way.
So, okay, let's go with the textbook definition. The textbook definition of the noun, because activism can be a noun or adjective, meaning describing. But a person who campaigns to bring about political or social change. That's the noun. So, political or social change.
So I'm a noun now? I want to be a verb.
The act of activism is a verb.
I'm a verb.
Activating, that's the adverb. Okay. But, okay.
I'm putting it on you.
Oh, jeez. The adjective to activism, campaigning to bring about political or social change. Okay, so the person who campaigns to bring about is the noun, and then the actual act of it, campaigning to bring about political or social change, is active.
Oh, so somebody just talking about it, and then somebody doing something about it.
Is two different things. Exactly.
Well, I'm the verb. I do something about it.
Exactly. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Handle it.
Be about it. Okay. So there you have it. A little bit about our understanding and our definition. And our guest today, Hazel Gomez Dee Crane. Don't you just love that name? Hazel Gomez Dee Crane is definitely
sound like some type of crane operator or something.
Is definitely an activist, and she's involved in so many
about her name, though.
Aspects of social change. I don't know what you're talking about, because
change could change.
I ain't paying no attention over there. No attention. When I contacted her about the series, she was like, but I don't have anything to say. Why me? There's so many other people.
Well, she sure was doing a lot of talking.
I could refer you to. What am I going to say? And I always tell people, I'm going to take care of you. I got you, boo. We just going to have a conversation. Okay, so now watch how she turns into a chatty Cathy. Okay? And it's
Quit calling that girl names.
It's funny how folks believe they are not interview worthy until they talk to me. And when they talk
you got the gift?
You could say that.
What kind of
I've been told I got the gift.
Girl?
I got that goody.
Goody? Do you know what a goody is?
Well, for 8 years of doing this, I guess I need to count how many total shows that we have, because we have lost count. And I would say a few of those shows that some people told me they were very nervous.
Just a few.
As far as interviewing, but I made them very comfortable. Some people got so hyped they was ready to go interview with CNN after I got done with them.
Thelma said
they was ready to go.
Thelma said she thought you was her girlfriend or something.
That's right. And time in the game gives you experience, makes you an expert. Yep, I said it because after you do so much something for so often, you do become an expert in the field. And that's kind of what I do. That's one of the things that I do.
Is you Italian or something?
What?
You trying to talk like that?
No, ain't got nothing to do with that.
I heard the do.
But we gonna keep it rolling. So, Ho, what you got? And we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. This is Hazel Gomez from Dream of Detroit, and you're listening to the Prison World Radio Network.
So, man, y'all listen to Prison World Radio Network.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
All right. In this section right here, this is normally our slotted news section where we give you just a little bit of the highlights of Prison World News, and thus the name, the Prison World Radio Hour. But because we are doing this wonderful series on Black Muslimah Activists, we are going to give you our little bit of special of what we're talking about here and clearing up some of those wonderful, always not talked about myths. We're going to take a few liberties here. the myths about African American Muslims. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Is this thing on?
What?
I just want to make sure you're with me. I see you looking around the studio. Are you with me?
I was looking at the board.
Okay. Right.
Excuse me.
But we're going to talk about, we've talked about a couple things already. You guys can go back and check out the first couple of shows. But let's talk about another misconception. Muslim women have to wear all black. No.
But why you got on black right now?
We don't. I actually have on black right now because I wasn't going to change. We were coming into the studio and I said I wasn't going to change.
Well, you Muslim.
Okay.
You got on black.
But it's a myth that I have to wear this. It's a myth. It's a misconception.
Well, if I saw you, I wouldn't know.
Now, certain sex, right? You wouldn't know. But certain sects believe in that women have to dress in all white. And then, of course, there's the culture versus religion, that some people feel that is a cultural thing and that those women dress that way because of their culture. But that's not necessarily dictated by religion.
I mean, if they want to wear all black, they can wear all black.
They can.
You know?
They can. There's nothing wrong with that.
You ain't got to stigmatize everybody with the all black.
Exactly. No? And even a lot of the sisters that we are interviewing for our series, they're a group of colorful women, you know, colorful sisters. And they like to be colorful, and it expresses their creativity and their personality and kind of everything that's behind it.
Okay, you don't need to be expressing everything, though. And
depending on how we're dressed, though, we always seem to get that question. Are you hot? Well, you know, on a 88-degree day, 90-degree day, I think everybody's going to be hot. You know, if you see people riding in their cars and not rolling their windows down but don't have on their AC, or they're rolling their windows down because they're trying to save their AC, but they're still hot.
But do they really think that they're not hot just because they're looking at someone covered? You're still hot.
Right, and
hot is hot. I don't care what you got on.
A lot of times this covering keeps us cool. We stay cooler than a lot of other people because of the skin being covered.
Just think about them people with them umbrellas. They're covering. Yeah,
your skin can burn when it's not covered.
They covering, trying to keep that heat off of their body.
Yeah, and so a lot of times, especially if you're wearing breathable clothes, like I like to wear airy, breathable cottons, not, you know, polyester.
It can breathe by itself?
And the clothes breathe, yes, dear.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I want to feel some breath on my hand or something then.
And I like to wear light and airy scarves, you know, not to be tied down or feel like I'm in a chokehold or something like that. So I can be a lot cooler than maybe some other people or what it looks like.
Yeah, you sure be tripping me out.
Now, on some days, there's just no, there's no cure.
But on them days, it's no cure for everybody.
There's no, right. Maybe some watermelon or something, but yeah.
They can strip down, they get all semi-naked.
Oh, and not the semi-naked.
All I'm saying is they still be saying I'm hot.
The other folks, exactly. And fanning. They half naked and they fanning. Ooh, I'm hot, girl. It's so hot out here.
I'm just saying.
Right. I'm just saying too. So it's better, you know, to ask the questions and, you know, instead of posting ignorance or things on social media. Now, you know, we're going to see on social media where people are slamming and, you know, talking about, oh, I don't know how them Muslim women dress like that in the summertime. It's so hot, girl. I couldn't do it. Well, you know, maybe you couldn't.
They slamming like the MMA?
Maybe it's not.
I bet you if they knew the reward for it, they would.
Right. You'd have to it takes a certain discipline and a certain mindset in order to do this. So, but ask a Muslim and they'll tell you all about it. Okay. We are only the messengers, you know, in this. And for people who actually practice the religion, those are the people that you should be talking to.
Sure should.
Stop talking to coffee about tea. You know, stop talking to apples about oranges. They're not going to be able to tell you what it is. You know, we're the ones that are going to be able to tell you what it is.
What, bananas about nuts?
Right. Stop talking to bananas about nuts.
Well, I'm going to quit talking to them then.
Step on over this way and ask a Muslim. Okay? Coming up on the other side of break, our special guest, Hazel Gomez Dee Crane.
Hazel D.
Let's go.
You're listening to the Prison World Acapella Radio Hour.
The latest books from Freebird publishers for your incarcerated loved one.
We are back and coming at you with another notable sister in our Black Muslimah Activist series. Now, we're not just talking about the black sisters, but we got to talk about the brown.
Because Gomez don't sound black to me.
The brown, the purple, the yellow, all of that as well. All
Are we bringing no yellow people up in here?
If you brown, you could be a little yellow. That's in the yellow family.
I ain't never seen no yellow person.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, she a little yellow. So we have a sister that is an organizer and an advisor. This sister works with improving communities in that wonderful city of my birth, Detroit, or as I like to call it, the D. She's part of the Dream of Detroit alongside her husband. And she is
another husband and wife team?
Husband and wife.
That's what I'm talking about.
Me too. She is highly active with her local masjid and also went viral last year in a video talking about the late, great Muhammad Ali. We are talking about Hazel Gomez Dee Crane. Assalamu alaikum, my sister. What's up?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm absolutely honored to be here today.
Oh, alhamdulillah. She told me that she doesn't have a lot to say. And I told her that I could pull blood from a turnip.
Well, I guess it'll be a 2-minute interview then, huh?
Yeah, I could pull blood from a turnip, okay? So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and some things that I left off the resume.
Yes, ma'am. So, as you mentioned, I am an advisor and a community organizer out here in the D. I am an advisor for Dream of Detroit, which is a local nonprofit that combines community organizing along with strategic housing and land development. As you know, back in 2008, a lot of folk left Detroit because of the Great Recession, as they say. And what we're trying to do is really revitalize Detroit and prevent gentrification. Detroit is a very black city, and we want to keep it a black and brown city. And with gentrification, it's been affecting our communities because resources are going to other parts of the city. So what we're trying to do is focus on a particular neighborhood near the Muslim Center of Detroit. And inshallah, just trying to get more folk to move out here to a very vibrant masjid and live around the mosque, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. But we all know what happens when you revitalize one community, it spreads to other communities. So they are doing exactly what activism is supposed to be about. You're supposed to reach out right in front of you and then spread abroad. So that's something that we're tackling here because we're in this 21st century definition of activism, and a lot of people are behind their LED screen, call themselves doing activism. So what does activism mean to you?
Actually, your definition of keyboard activism, honestly, it's a real thing. And I say that, I know that's shocking, I do say that because it brings an awareness to other folks. So, especially with Dream, with keyboard activism and writing articles and updating folk about what's going on in our particular community, we're able to spread the message across the United States, across the world really, and let people know what activism looks like on the ground. So you kind of need both that online organizing as well as on the ground. You can't completely dismiss one without the other, especially, like you said, living in the 21st century. But on the ground organizing is tough. What that includes is really building relationships with people. And yeah, like you said, staying behind our computer screens, many people just become isolated, don't want to do nothing. But we need to go back to the prophetic way, which is getting to know our neighbors. Right? Like, how many people can say, I know who lives in 2D and I live in 2E, apartment 2E, right? So getting to know our neighbors, getting to understand one another, and through those building of relationships, we figure out what our common interests are, what their interests are, and how we can build to make our neighborhoods and our communities safe and vibrant, and for the betterment of our kids and our future generations, because sometimes we may not see the benefits.
Yeah, folks are just real antisocial these days. Just sit behind a computer screen, just all day long and not really getting out or doing anything. And that becomes a different form of activism. But I guess, like as you say, there is keyboard activism. But if that's all you're doing is the keyboard, now, come on now. You got to step out and do some other stuff. So
exactly.
Tell us about the struggles of the trifecta of being, brown, Muslim, and female.
Where do I start?
At the beginning, my sister.
At the beginning. SubhanAllah. One of the things that actually I struggled with when I became Muslim was finding that activism space. As a woman of color, as a Latina, Puerto Rican, and Mexican woman, I felt like I had become Muslim, and I kind of lost that activism spirit because I couldn't find the right community. And this is not a diss at second-generation immigrant communities, it's not a diss at the Black Muslim community. It was just me trying to figure it out, and the people that I had met just weren't about that life. I was so grateful to started working at Iman, the Inner City Muslim Action Network based out in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. And I worked there for 3 years, and subhanAllah, that was life-changing. And I say that because it brought in, like I said before, the prophetic model of being out in the community and living your deen through community service, right? Just like Muhammad Ali says, may Allah bless his soul, he said the rent you pay on this earth is service to others. And Iman really follows that model, mashallah. Just being around other people that were like-minded really helped me find myself. Now that I live out in Detroit, alhamdulillah, it's been a blessing. It has its own struggles in a very black and white city. But alhamdulillah, it's all about building those relationships and finding people. It's a big city. Everybody's all spread out.
Yeah, we definitely, we're big on building relationships here. I think I got an A in Relationship Building 101. What you think, dear? I got an A?
I think so, too.
I think I got an A.
An A on what?
Relationship building.
Oh, you should have built a relationship when we had to stop at that gas station in Detroit.
Oh, no. See.
Brother didn't want to get out and pump the gas now.
That was
Too
your
many
test.
people was crowding my car.
That was your test, not mine.
Well, you should have built some relationships up in there is all I'm saying.
You got to pick and choose your battles on that one, and that one was not mine. Okay? So why do you think our voice is constantly being left out of the narrative as black and brown Muslims?
I also want to add a point to being a woman. And forgive me for backtracking a little bit.
That's okay. Take your time.
One of the things that I noticed about organizing when I became a mother is that these spaces don't make it easy for women of color with their children to be heard. And we are raising the next generation. I know fathers are doing it too, but we are here with our children. And when we go to spaces or we're in, community hearings or trying to lobby out in, your state capital, and your 5-month-old just whines a little bit and everybody gives you that death stare, like, what you doing here? Like, no, I'm supposed to be here. Okay, you see this child in my hands? Yeah, this is going to be a future voter. This is going to be a future leader. Like, I am supposed to be here.
But they want you to take that baby and go home.
Right, exactly. They keep shunning us. And that's a huge problem, just like in organizing spaces, period. And it is absolutely critical to make our spaces available for mothers, especially women of color, because there's just too many policies that affect us, so many policies that affect black women and brown women. I mean, here in Detroit a few years ago, there is this predatory company that was trying to buy breast milk from mothers in Detroit, and giving them $1 per ounce.
Wow.
And let me tell you,
wow,
$1 per ounce.
So
okay, that is liquid gold.
Being passionate is a part of activism, because you just believe in a lot of different causes. But reeling you in, back to my question before we go to this break, was why do you think that we are constantly being left out? Why is our voices being left out of the narrative?
Oh, can I say patriarchy? Is that a bad word?
Say what you must. Say it if you feel like you
Girl,
need to.
it might be a bad word to some people, but if it ain't a bad word to you, let it out.
Honestly, I feel that our voices are being left out because...
Patriotism? Because we're not patriotic.
She said patriarchy. That is not patriotism.
Well, patriot something. I knew it started with a patriot.
Patriarchy. And women of color are the most affected communities. And this is a very difficult question to ask because we're still trying to find solutions to this problem. So I honestly don't know how we can solve it. It's just the way the systems are set up right now. And I'm so grateful for the other activists that are out there, especially the Black Muslim sisters that are out here putting in the work. And it's this notion that if you start speaking up, then you're just angry. Right? There's this notion that if you speak up for what is right as a woman, especially as a black woman, that you are just angry, and when you're angry, ain't nobody gonna listen to you.
You better say it. You better say it. And I'm gonna hold you right there, and we're gonna come back with some good stuff. But we gotta take a pause for the cause, because we gotta go pay some bills and stuff like that, right?
Girl, I'm paying on my bills. I done told you.
Yeah, but you ain't paid the radio bill.
Ain't nobody being put out this house.
You ain't paid no radio bill, so we gonna hold her right there, and y'all hold on too. Hold what you got. We'll be right back.
Well, I paid something.
To the Prison World Acapella Radio Hour.
Right, we are back. We are back, and we are speaking with the wonderful Hazel Gomez Dee Crane out of the Detroit.
They might as well be black. They treat them just like us.
The Latinas. They
sure do.
That's matter of fact, they treat them worse than us now under this wonderful.
Oh, we treat it good now?
This wonderful presidency
odds to be good now? Really?
We and that's something that we also...
He's not my president.
He ain't my president either, but that's something that we have to remember. We all in this together. We are all in this together. Okay, so with Muslims, Hazel, is being prominent enough? There's this huge thing that people gravitate to prominent Muslims. Is being prominent enough to get the message out there?
No. The problem with the Muslim community living in the United States is that everybody's scrambling to find a leader. And with that, there are prominent scholars or prominent individuals. I'll focus on scholars. There's prominent scholars that people look to in order to validate the issues that are going on. They're seeking validation to support Black Lives Matter. They're seeking validation to do activism work. And the problem lies when our scholars are not abreast of what's going on the ground. They're in their ivory minarets, and they don't know what's going on. And that creates a problem because you just have a lot of people figuring out, how can I balance my Islam? How can I balance activism? How can I balance social change? How can I, be in this world but not completely? And when our scholars are not, like I said, when our scholars just don't know what's going on, that creates a problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, alhamdulillah, but what Allah said, He charged all Muslims with being a part of their community. So when you say, I hear you when you say people look to the scholars, but if the scholars are not in that community and they're not dealing with problems that we're dealing with, I mean, Muslims, we got to step up anyway. So I don't know, because me personally, I look towards right and wrong in my community, whether a scholar is present or not. So, but I feel you, sis. I think that is a part of the issue.
Yeah, and so how do you feel that we are living up to Malcolm X's legacy? Speaking of prominent Muslims, Malcolm X's legacy, has it helped, or are we failing as the Black and brown community?
I feel like in the last few years, and I'm not the best person to answer this question, but...
No, but I want your perspective of it. So it's just not, you're not answering for everyone, but this is your perspective of how we're doing.
I think we're really trying, and we're getting there. The fact that we are celebrating Malcolm X Day, subhanAllah, may Allah rest his soul, that says a lot about trying to live his legacy here. People are learning about his life and learning about the things that he did and said, and even celebrating his life is a form of really trying to incorporate everything that he did. So I think we're, in the last, maybe last 10 years, we're getting there. We're trying.
Okay. Well, I find it, I'm asking all of my Muslimah activists, because in the spirit of activism, I mean, he's major as far as the Muslim community. And I feel that anybody that comes up under him or up under the, these later generations, that's what you look back to, is to the legacy that he left and what he did for the Muslim community. That's an African-American male. But as African-American, Black Muslimah females, brown Muslimah females, how important is it for us to take the reins of leadership?
One of the things that I've always appreciated about Brother Malcolm was he was honest. So honest that people's feelings got hurt. And when I say people's feelings got hurt, was that they just couldn't take the honesty. And as I had mentioned before about women, about Black women, about brown women being honest, were just deemed as angry. Brother Malcolm said it first. He, by many, as an angry Black man, but now you have sisters that are really living up to his honesty and really trying to be on the ground and just speaking truth to power. So Brother Malcolm's way of doing things, I'm seeing it in the passionate speeches that sisters are giving. I'm seeing it in the work that's being put in on the ground. And that to me is, it just makes me unbelievably happy to still see his spirit with us today. And like I said, in the last 10 years, from my perspective, from where I've been, it's really growing. And just acknowledging the work that he did and the things that he did. SubhanAllah, I just pray that we continue to put his spirit in action.
Now, a lot of us are full of spirit. Now, I got some spirits. I got some spirits in me.
He only gave you one.
And different things. I don't know. You can have a couple of different spirits.
He gave you one.
I have some spirits in me and everything, but that I'm glad you touched on that. People looked at him as being angry. And when a female takes on that persona, you're definitely stigmatized as an angry, as an angry female. Why can't we transpose that word angry with passionate or excited? Or dedicated, or determined. Why does it have to be? But
she made a point, though.
Yeah, why do we have to be stereotyped as angry? It doesn't make any sense. And now looking back on everything that Brother Malcolm talked about, he was only labeled as angry because he wanted change. And that's exactly activism. In any activist, that's what we should want is change. Are we upset about some things? Sure. We're going to be upset about.
But like the sister said, just speak the truth. Just keep speaking the truth. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. What would you most like to be remembered for?
I just want to be kept in people's prayers. I want to raise children that will believe in God, follow the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, follow the spirit of Brother Malcolm, and just pray for him.
Okay, I can go with that.
So she want to be remembered for her family, then.
Yeah, something kind of simple. Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool.
Well, we simple people, huh?
We can be.
Oh, I'm simple.
But it's better being a simple woman than a complicated man. Okay, so tell our listeners.
Good thing I ain't complicated.
How they can get in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am. Best way to get in touch with me is through Facebook and Twitter.
No. You don't say. Go ahead.
No, that's the best way to get a hold of me. I sit on the board of a few nonprofits. Again, going back to being a mother and just trying to dip my toe in the different passions that I have. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Hazel Gomez Dee Crane, and on Twitter as Palunguita. That's a family nickname. So.
Okay, I was going to say, can you spell that?
She said Manita.
Yes,
the who?
Yep. PALUNQUITA.
Okay, what she said.
Nita.
I
got the Nita part.
What she said. Okay, we have to look that up. Anyway, we have been speaking with Hazel Gomez Dee Crane, wife, mother, activist, my Latina sister,
woman in charge,
passionate Detroit resident, just all around good person. And you guys reach out to her if you want to connect and, like I said, build those relationships.
I'm gonna have her go to that gas station next time I go to Detroit.
Bye.
She might know them people.
Anywho, okay. So we're gonna come right back with your food for thought. Thanks so much for being here. Hold what you got. We'll be right back.
I'm Sally, a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs. Excuse me, hi. What do you think this place needs?
I'd like to see more parking.
More playgrounds.
Free movies.
Oh, that's easy. Better restaurants.
And you, what do you think this place needs?
This place? Oh, more ice cream trucks.
Okay. How about you?
Wi-Fi everywhere?
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
Oh, that's way better.
Now that you mention it.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org. Because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Food for thought. Food for thought.
Food for thought. In the food for thought for today, we are using quotes. We've been using the quotes from our guests. I asked them to give me a quote on what activism meant to them. And our guest today, Hazel Gomez Dee Crane, says, and I quote.
I got a quote.
What?
Lakum din lakum wali udin.
She didn't say that.
You be your way and to me be mine.
She didn't say that.
Leave me alone.
Hazel Gomez Dee Crane said, and I quote, Islam is our way of life, but liberation is our goal. In other words, she's saying, give us free. Give us free. That's all we want.
I said to you be your way and to me be mine.
That's all we want. And we want to do it with an Islamic lifestyle, in this Islamic way. Is that too much to ask for?
I'm going to do it the way my Lord told me. Is
that too much to ask for? It's simple, right?
Girl, please.
Okay.
I ain't getting caught up.
Before we get out of here, we have just a few announcements. And I do want to make this clear. Everything that you hear here, you may be bumping your head, you bouncing with it and everything, but everything you hear here is a cappella. A cappella, a cappella. And if you would like to submit something, send it to prisonworldradio@gmail.com. That's prisonworldradio@gmail.com.
Just make so you can sing. I mean, just make sure you can sing.
Anywho, we take all
sending me all that other
submissions. We take all submissions. Okay,
I'll be like Simon Cowell up in here.
Send it. No. Send it over and we'll check it out. Okay, check out our TV show Lifestyles with Rufus and Jenny. Season 1 is on DVD on Amazon. Season 2, it's coming. It's coming. Hang on. Okay. Behind the scenes in episode 1, full episode 1 is available on YouTube now. Find us on YouTube at RufusandJennyTv. Freebird Publishers, check them out for books for your incarcerated loved ones. They also publish for inmates. So if you have an incarcerated loved one, an inmate with a story, and we know everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to tell.
I got a couple of stories.
If they're looking to get published, check them out as well. Freebird Publishers at freebirdpublishers.com. Prison World Magazine, you can check us out on Amazon. We are back. We've been back. We're on Amazon, #1 bestseller on Amazon. We go into all the prisons. We ship to prisons. Amazon ships to prisons. You can find single issues.
We biggity back.
Biggity back.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Okay.
Say somebody's imagination.
You can find single issues on our website, prisonworldmagazine.com, or you can get a yearly subscription for your incarcerated loved one on Amazon. Okay. Books. Surviving Marriage in the 21st Century. Guys, we have crossed the 10,000 books sold threshold, and we are so grateful. Shouts out to everyone who has supported us.
They ain't going to want to buy the book now.
In this independent
They're going to think you rich.
Game.
Should have told them 2.
No, I had to share that. That's a nice. That's a nice milestone.
Should have told them 2.
10,000 books.
Put it back in the mailbox.
Support. How about support? How about that? Okay.
Okay, I don't know who you think you be talking to.
Jobs for Felons. It's our resource book for those with a criminal record. We pretty much all know somebody with a criminal record. You may know someone that's struggling with a criminal record. There's resources in that book that can help them out. Jobs for Felons. We're dropping our next Jobs for Felons book next month, the end of July. So be on the lookout for that as well. Any advertising and sponsorships that you are interested in for the radio show, they are available. Send inquiries to prisonworldradio@gmail.com. That's prisonworldradio@gmail.com. I'll get back to you. We get lots of emails, but I'll hit you back when I can.
You sure be reading all that stuff too.
I read every email. Yes,
everything.
I do. And respond to each and every one.
Do you got to read it to me all the time, though?
The ones that are necessary to read to you.
Can I just bypass some stuff?
No. Remember, you can stay connected via social media, what I like to call the Big Six. Find us on Facebook at Rufus and Jenny, Twitter at Rufus and Jenny, IG at Triplet World, YouTube at Rufus and Jenny TV, Pinterest at Rufus and Jenny.
I see you.
And LinkedIn, find me, Jenny Triplet.
I'm looking at you right there on the screen, girl.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Live stream. The live stream is available from our website. You can listen to Prison World Radio 24/7, guys. 24/7.
That's a long time.
Just go to the website, prisonworldradiohour.com, hit the live stream tab, and you can listen to it. You can also find our archives on iTunes and TuneIn. And if you are stressing your data plan, you can call in on that number. Call me maybe. Call in on that phone.
Be free.
And listen at 701-719-5174. That's 701-719-5174. We done came a long way, baby.
Be free of all charges.
We done came a long way, baby, in 8 years, okay? We got you covered in all different types of ways that you could check us out.
Covered in chocolate.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I'm wrong?
Yes.
Oh, my fault.
Yes. We'd like to thank all of our global listeners around the world. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys, a lot of you guys have been down with us for 8 years, okay? No matter where we took our show.
They want to be down.
No matter how long we took a hiatus, you guys have been down with us, and we definitely
quit taking
appreciate
hiatuses
that.
then.
We'd like to thank our very special
Them
guests.
hyenas live in the mountains.
Ain't nobody saying nothing about no hyenas.
They live in the mountains, though.
Good Lord. We'd like to thank our very special guest, Miss Hazel D.
Hazel D from the D.
No. Hazel Gomez.
Hazel from the D?
Hazel Gomez Dee Crane. Yes, she's from the D, but you made me say her name wrong. See,
it's Hazel D.
See, why you always
from
showing out?
D.
Why you always showing out when we got company?
Told me.
Why you always showing out when we got company? I just rhymed too.
Hazel D from the D. That what she told me.
Thank you so much for being here. You ready to ride, dear? You ready to ride?
Is it Hazel D? You going to the D?
She done rolled out.
Hey, well, tell her.
Hey, we are going to Detroit soon. We going to Detroit soon.
Well, give her husband a shout out then.
Give him the greetings. That's for sure. Okay. I am your host, Jenny Triplet, and attached at my hip is my co-host, Ismail, with your crazy self.
Who crazy?
He's so
Girl,
crazy.
I ain't crazy. There ain't nobody gonna put no straight jacket on me.
He's so crazy.
Yeah, okay.
God is one.
Come up in here if you want.
And we leave you in peace. DJ, take us home.
I'm back on the street. I'm a real OG. I'm back on the street. I'm making money. Growing up on the streets, I wanted to make a change. Now I have a family and baby. I can't find a job to pay me more than minimum wage. That's no way to make a living. In the middle of the night I see my homies drinking 40s, shooting crap at the corner store. It's a way to get paid. That's a way to make some money. I'm back on the street. I'm back on, keeping it real. I'm a real G. You see, I make my money right. I'm a real OG. I'm a real OG. I'm back on the street. Making money. I'm making money. Prison world.